If you have diabetes, or if someone you love does, I need you to listen to me very carefully for the next 20 minutes. Because what I am about to tell you contradicts almost everything you have been told about this disease. You have probably been told that diabetes is a one-way street, that once you have it forever, that the best you can do is manage it. Take your medication, watch your numbers, and hope it doesn't get worse. That is not the whole truth. The truth is, for the vast majority of people with diabetes, this condition can be put into remission. The medical word doctors use means your blood sugar returns to a normal, healthy range, without medication. Your body starts working the way it was supposed to. The disease, in a real sense, lets go of you. And the research showing this is not from some fringe corner of the internet. It is from major hospitals. Published in journals like The Lancet. Confirmed in trials following thousands of patients. Here's the part that will surprise you. The single biggest thing standing between most diabetics and that turnaround is not a medication. It is not a magic supplement. It is not a complicated diet plan with 60 rules. It is one food. One single food you are very likely consuming several times a week, maybe several times a day, without ever thinking about it. A food that millions of Americans treat as harmless. A food that the medical research has now flagged as the single most powerful driver of high blood sugar, weight gain, and the inflammation that keeps diabetes locked in place. My name is Dr. Carter, and tonight I am going to tell you exactly what that food is. But before I do, I need to walk you through 3 things first. Because if you just hear the name of the food and don't understand why it does what it does inside your body, you will go right back to eating it within 2 weeks. I have watched that happen too many times. So tonight I will show you what reversal actually means. I will tell you about a woman named Eleanor whose blood sugar numbers shocked even her doctor. I will reveal the one food, in plain language, and explain exactly what it does to your body. And I will give you a simple 4-step plan you can start tomorrow morning. But first, let me tell you what every doctor wishes their patients understood about diabetes. Because if you understand this one thing, everything else in this video will land harder. Here is what every doctor wishes their patients understood. Diabetes is not a disease your body got randomly. It is not bad luck. It is not just genetics. Diabetes is what happens when your body has been quietly drowning in a flood of sugar for years, and the flood eventually overwhelms the very system that was designed to handle it. Let me explain it the simplest way I know how. Picture your bloodstream as a calm river, and picture every cell in your body as a little house along that river. Each house has a front door, and each door is opened by a key. That key is a hormone called insulin. When you eat, especially when you eat sugar or starchy carbs, sugar floods into the river. Your body then sends out insulin, the key, to open the doors of your cells, so the sugar can be let inside and used as fuel. That is the system. Simple, elegant. It worked beautifully for most of your life. But here is what nobody tells you. When that flood happens too often, every day, every meal, every snack, for years, the doors on your cells start to get tired. They stop responding to the key. The insulin pounds and pounds and the door just won't open. The sugar piles up in the river instead of going into the houses. Doctors call this insulin resistance. It is the real beginning of type 2 diabetes, and it usually starts a decade before anyone gives you the diagnosis. By the time your doctor sits you down and says your blood sugar is too high, the doors on your cells have been failing, quietly, for 10 years or more. Here is the part that gives you your power back. If insulin resistance is what built this disease, then reducing the flood is what reverses it. Stop overwhelming the system, and the doors slowly, gradually start responding again. That is remission. Quick favor before we go further. Drop your city, state, or country in the comments below. When I see where folks are watching from, it helps me tailor my advice to what people in your part of the world are dealing with. I read everyone. So tell me where you are tuning in from tonight. Now stay with me, because before I show you the one food, I have to tell you about Eleanor. Her story is the whole reason I am making this video tonight. Eleanor was 64 when she first came to see me. She had been a registered nurse for 35 years, recently retired. The kind of patient who knew every medical term I used. She had 3 grown daughters, 6 grandchildren, and a husband named Bill who walked with a slight limp from an old work injury. She had been a type 2 diabetic for 7 years. When she sat down in my office, she opened a small notebook. She had written her numbers in it for years. Her last A1C, that is the blood test that shows your average blood sugar over the past 3 months, was 8.2. For context, a healthy A1C is below 5.7. 6.5 and above is diabetes. 8.2 is the kind of number that makes a doctor sit up straighter in the chair. She was on 3 medications. Her blood sugar was still creeping upward. Her doctor had just told her, gently, that they were going to need to add insulin injections. And Eleanor said something to me that I have heard from 100 different patients, in 100 different ways. She said, "I have done everything they told me. I take my pills. I check my sugar 4 times a day. And I am still getting worse. Am I just supposed to accept this?" I told her no. Here is what I told her. I told her that her doctor was a good doctor. The medications were good medications. And the standard advice she had been given was the standard advice that most diabetics get. But standard advice manages a disease. It does not reverse one. I asked her to do one thing for me, for 90 days. One thing. I told her exactly what food to stop. I told her exactly what to drink in its place. I told her, with my hand on her chart, that I expected her A1C to drop by at least 1 full point, maybe more. She looked at me like I was a little crazy. But she did it. 90 days later, Eleanor walked back into my office with her notebook. Her A1C was 6.1. One number, from a place where she was sliding into needing insulin, to a number that, in many guidelines, is no longer considered diabetes at all. Her doctor was the one who called me. He wanted to know what I had done. What I told Eleanor is exactly what I am going to tell you tonight. The one food I asked her to stop is the one food I am about to reveal to you. And what happened inside her body in those 90 days is the entire reason I am sitting here making this video. So let me show you first what was actually happening on the inside. Because once you see that, the food I am about to name will make complete sense. So here is what was actually happening inside Eleanor's body. And inside the body of every type 2 diabetic watching this video right now. It is not just about sugar in the blood. That is the surface picture. The real picture is much deeper and much more hopeful once you understand it. I told you about the river and the houses and the doors that get tired. Now I'm going to take you 1 floor deeper. Inside your body, you have an organ that sits on the right side of your belly, just under your ribs. About the size of a football. It is your liver. And it is the most important organ you almost never think about. Your liver is the central manager of your entire fuel system. Whatever you eat or drink, it processes. It decides what gets used now, what gets stored for later, and what gets thrown away. Now, your liver is built to handle the kinds of foods humans have eaten for tens of thousands of years. Fruits, vegetables, meat, grains, real food. But there is one kind of sugar your liver is not built to handle in large amounts, and that is a sugar called fructose, the same sugar that exists in fruit, in tiny, slow amounts wrapped in fiber. When fructose arrives in your liver slowly, in an apple or a pear, your liver shrugs and handles it just fine. But when it arrives fast, in a glass, your liver gets overwhelmed. And here is where the real damage begins. When your liver is overwhelmed by fast, liquid fructose, it does something it would never do with real food. It starts turning that sugar directly into fat, inside itself. Doctors call this a fatty liver. And the worst part is, most people who have it have no idea. There are no symptoms, no pain. Your liver does not have nerve endings for that kind of thing. But that fatty liver is the engine that drives almost every case of type 2 diabetes. Here is why. A fatty liver leaks fat back into the bloodstream. That fat clogs up the doors on your cells, the ones we talked about earlier. The keys can't fit anymore. The sugar can't get in. Your blood sugar climbs. Your pancreas pumps out more and more insulin trying to force the doors open, and the cycle gets worse and worse. That is insulin resistance. That is what was happening inside Eleanor for 7 years, while she did everything her doctor told her to do. She wasn't failing. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't a non-compliant patient. She had a fatty liver, and nothing in her medication cabinet was treating it. But here is the part that gave her, and gives you, the power back. The fat in your liver is one of the easiest types of fat in your body to remove. Not through pills, not through surgery. By simply cutting off the supply of fast, liquid fructose flooding into your body every single day. Which brings me, finally, to the one food, the one drink, more accurately. And the moment I name it, you are going to recognize it, you are going to know it, and you are going to wonder how nobody told you sooner. Here it is. The one food I asked Eleanor to stop. The one food that drives more cases of type 2 diabetes in America than any other single thing on the grocery shelf. Sugar-sweetened beverages, soda, sweet tea, lemonade, fruit punch, sports drinks, energy drinks, flavored coffee drinks from the drive-thru, bottled iced teas with sugar added, and, yes, even most of the fruit juices sitting in your refrigerator door right now. I know, that feels too simple, too small, too ordinary. You were waiting for me to name some obscure ingredient, some hidden chemical, some food you had never thought about. It isn't. It is the thing you have been pouring into a glass 2 or 3 times a day for 40 years. And I need you to understand exactly why. Remember what I told you about your liver, about fructose arriving fast, about the fatty liver that quietly drives the entire disease. A single 12-ounce can of regular soda contains roughly 39 grams of sugar. Most of that is fructose. Now picture how long it takes to drink that can. 2 minutes? 3? You swallow it. It is gone. But inside your body, that fructose did not disappear. It just slammed, all at once, into your liver. The same liver that would handle a whole apple slowly over the course of an hour gets hit with the sugar equivalent of about 10 apples in 3 minutes. And it has no defense for that. Because here is what is different about a beverage. When you eat a piece of fruit, the fiber slows everything down. Your stomach takes time to empty. Your liver gets the fructose in small, manageable trickles. The system handles it the way it was designed to. But when you drink your sugar, there is no fiber. There is no slowdown. There is no warning. It is a flood. And every flood is one more deposit of fat into your liver, one more leak, one more clogged door on your cells, one more inch closer to the disease, or one more day deeper into the disease you already have. Now, I want to be fair because Eleanor asked me this exact question. She said, "Doctor, what about fruit? Should I stop eating fruit?" The answer is no. Whole fruit, apples, pears, berries, oranges, is not what we are talking about. Whole fruit has fiber. Whole fruit has slow delivery. Whole fruit is part of a healthy life, even for diabetics, in reasonable amounts. What we are talking about is liquid sugar. The kind you pour, the kind you sip, the kind that hits your liver in a flash flood and leaves behind fat. That is the food. Or more honestly, the drink. And the moment Eleanor cut it out of her life, the moment she replaced her 2 daily sweet teas and her glass of orange juice with cold water, plain coffee, and unsweetened tea, her liver began to drain. Within 90 days, her A1C dropped 2 full points. That is the power you have. And it is sitting in the door of your refrigerator right now. Now I need to stop, because what I am about to tell you may be the most important 30 seconds of this entire video. I want you to think of someone you know who smokes, or someone in your life who used to smoke. You know what cigarettes do. You have seen the warnings. You have heard your entire life that smoking is one of the most dangerous habits a human being can have. I want you to hold that thought, because researchers at the Harvard School of Public Health looked at this very question. How does daily sugary drink consumption compare to other major health risks? And the answer made even them uncomfortable. In a meta-analysis published in the journal Diabetes Care, the Harvard team found that people who drank just 2 to 3 sugar-sweetened beverages per day had a 30 to 40% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The senior researcher on that study said something I have never been able to forget. He said, and I am quoting almost word for word, That level of risk is not very different from the increased risk associated with cigarette smoking. Read that sentence again, slowly. 2 or 3 sodas a day. As dangerous in terms of diabetes risk as smoking cigarettes. This is not an exaggeration. This is from one of the most respected medical institutions in the world, from a research team that has zero financial reason to overstate the case. Here is what most people get wrong. They have been raised their whole lives to fear cigarettes. They would never let their grandchild smoke. They would never go a day without warning a young person about smoking. But they will drink 3 sodas a day themselves, and they will pour fruit punch for the grandkids, without a second thought. That is the disconnect, and it is killing people. Eleanor was a registered nurse for 35 years. She had never smoked a cigarette in her life. She would have walked across a parking lot to avoid secondhand smoke. And yet, every single day for 30 years, she had been pouring herself 2 or 3 big glasses of sweet tea, without ever once connecting those 2 facts. That is what changed in her 90 days. Not just her diet, her understanding of what a daily habit really means. So now let me show you exactly what the rest of the research says. I want to give you the rest of the evidence. 3 studies. Plain English. No academic jargon. The first is the most important of them all. It is called the DIRECT trial, Diabetes Remission Clinical Trial, published in The Lancet, one of the oldest and most respected medical journals in the world. Researchers from the University of Glasgow and Newcastle followed nearly 300 type 2 diabetics for years. The intervention was simple, substantial weight loss, mostly by cutting out liquid calories and ultra-processed foods. The results stopped doctors cold. At 1 year, 46% of patients had achieved full remission. No more diabetes diagnosis, no more medication. Their blood sugar was back in the normal range. For the group that lost the most weight, over 30 pounds, 86% went into remission. Read that number again. 86%. In type 2 diabetics, off all medication. The second study came from Harvard, published in the BMJ in 2023. They followed more than 12,000 people who already had type 2 diabetes. They looked at one specific habit: drinking sugar-sweetened beverages. What they found was sobering. Each daily serving of a sugary drink was associated with an 8% higher risk of dying from any cause. Replacing that one daily soda with water, coffee, or tea, just that one swap, lowered the risk of dying significantly. One drink, every day, 8%. The third finding is the most encouraging. The 5-year follow-up to the DIRECT trial, published in 2024, showed that people who maintained their weight loss stayed in remission. The disease did not come roaring back. The change held. This is settled science, not theory, not opinion, not one doctor's guess. So let me give you exactly what to do, starting tomorrow morning. Here is exactly what to do. 4 steps. Tomorrow morning, not someday. Step 1. Empty your refrigerator. And empty it tonight. Walk into your kitchen, open the refrigerator door, and remove everything liquid that contains sugar. The sweet tea, the orange juice, the lemonade, the flavored coffee creamers, the energy drinks, the sports drinks, the fruit punch, even the small bottles of vitamin water with sweeteners. If it is in your house, you will drink it. If it is not, you won't. This is the simplest and most powerful step on this list. Step 2. Stock 4 replacement drinks, and only these 4. Cold water, plain coffee, unsweetened tea, hot or iced, and sparkling water with a slice of real lemon or lime if you need something with bubbles. That is the list. Notice what is not on it. Diet soda is not on it. Artificially sweetened drinks keep your taste buds calibrated to expect sweetness, and the research is still unclear on whether they affect blood sugar through the gut. Skip them entirely while you are working to reverse this. Once your liver has healed, your doctor will tell you when you can revisit. Step 3. Read every label on every drink for the next 30 days. This is the step that catches people. Because sugar hides. It hides in store-bought iced teas marked natural. It hides in fancy coffee drinks. It hides in flavored almond milks. It hides in fruit smoothies the grocery store advertises as healthy. Look at the back of the bottle. Find the line that says added sugars. If that number is anything above 0, put the bottle back on the shelf, just for 30 days. After 30 days, you will know how to navigate this without thinking about it. Step 4, and this is the one I will not let you skip. Talk to your doctor before you change anything about your medication. I mean that. Do not, under any circumstances, stop taking a diabetes medication on your own because of what you watched in this video. Here is why. As you cut sugar-sweetened beverages and your blood sugar improves, your medication may start working too well. Your sugar may drop too low. That is a medical situation that can be dangerous on its own. Your doctor needs to monitor your numbers, see the improvement, and reduce your medication safely as your body responds. That is the partnership that takes you to remission. Not a YouTube video. Show this video to your doctor. Show them Eleanor's story. Show them the direct trial. Ask them to support you. Most good doctors will be thrilled that you want to do this work. That is the plan. 4 steps. Save it. Use it. Today. Here is what I want you to walk away with. Type 2 diabetes is not a sentence. It is a condition. And conditions change when the things that caused them change. For most of your adult life, you have probably been told that this disease is something you manage, something you live with, something that slowly gets worse. That story is not the only story. There is another version of you, and it is not far from where you are sitting right now. In that version, you wake up in the morning and you don't reach for a pill before breakfast. You go to your doctor's office and the news is good for once. Your A1C is back where it belongs. Your blood pressure is settling. Your energy is back. Your eyes are clearer. Your weight is moving in the right direction. And you look at the man or woman you have been married to for 40 years, and you see relief in their face. Real relief. Because they were scared too. And you didn't always know that. That is what is on the other side of this work. Eleanor sent me a card last Christmas. 2 years after that, 90 days. She is still off 2 of her 3 medications. Her A1C is still in the normal range. She wrote one line at the bottom. She wrote, "Tell them they don't have to live with this. Tell them. I am telling you. Now I want one thing from you tonight. In the comments below, tell me. Have you ever had a sugar-sweetened drink today or yesterday? Just yes or no." I read these, and it tells me you are taking this seriously. If this video gave you something nobody had given you before, please share it tonight. With one person you love who has diabetes, or with the husband or wife sitting next to you. They will not always thank you, but they will remember. I am Dr. Carter. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people you love, and I will see you in the next one.